Magic the Gathering players are having a hard time finding these cards. Have you ever had trouble trying to find the one card you need to finish your commander deck? Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here, and thank you for hanging out with me on the channel today. Welcome to all the new subscribers, all my regular viewers who tune in each and every day, to all my amazing patrons who support the channel, as well as my YouTube membership members. Welcome back, everyone. On today's Card Watch video, we'll be taking a look at some Magic cards that are now becoming harder to find. We have areas of supply and demand where sometimes products are not opened enough. When you have something like Commander Legends Battle for Baldurs Gate, we have the Ancient Dragons, which are now just harder to find as players have hoarded copies for their own personal use, and no new copies are coming onto the market, forcing prices higher. In some cases, you have older Magic sets that, although they're not reserve list, they're just harder to find because they've become popular for some reason, like cards from Dominaria United have now affected cards from New Phyrexia. I can't wait to go through the list today and share with you all of these cards which are now becoming harder to find for various reasons, and we'll discuss that in the video. Guys, don't forget to leave comments in the comment section and let me know if I've missed any cards that are really getting hard to find. The first card on our list today is Sheoldred the Apocalypse from Dominaria United. As sales have remained strong on this card, it is becoming harder to find it for sale, which is forcing the price to stay at a higher than normal level. As this card continues to see demand in the modern format, finding homes in Commander and Pioneer, you will see a greater strain on the supply, maybe even forcing this card over $100. Sales on Dominaria United have come to a standstill as players get ready to move on to the Brothers War as well as the 30th anniversary of Magic. This is one of those cards that will be sitting there, a thorn in players' side, with less supply available. This is something to consider. I myself paid full price to get one and paid $70 Canadian instead of trying to find one inside of a collector pack. I know inside the draft boxes and set boxes, this card is not that easily found, so this card is going to have a higher demand going forward, and I'll be interested to see if it actually breaks the $100 level. Now, the next card on the list is Demonic Tudor. I'm showing a revised edition that's $60 Canadian, but any of the editions seem to have a great value to players because it's used in almost any commander deck that uses black and all kinds of vintage legacy formats that demand the card. That means all the different versions of this card that have been for sale have all maintained a certain level of value, and that will continue on. The issue is, Wizards only seems to print this into some specialty sets, so as player formats grow and as players use up copies of this card, there are less hitting the market, which is only slightly putting strain on that supply. But if they don't readily feed the beast and put more copies on the market every few years, we'll see a greater strain on the supply, forcing that price well into the 70s Canadian dollar. I mean, $50 for this card would seem still very expensive for a card that's been printed this often, but it's going to hold that value because Wizards is keeping a constant look on this supply and making sure it stays at a certain level. Be careful if you don't see it printed because the price will spike, so don't just dive in and buy this card unless you can get a deal on it. It may not be the right time. The next card I want to share with you is Urza Saga, another card that started out really hot for Modern Horizons 2, went plummeting down, but it bounced right back. I remember telling people that this card was going to be $5, and I totally got schooled by everyone saying, you just don't see what we see, Moxman, and apparently you're right. This card is not being opened anymore. Modern Horizons is in its twilight. It's basically done. Nothing new is coming onto the market. It's a forgotten set, which means the copies that are out there are being used by players. They're being kept, and with the Brothers War coming, the sales have started to uptick on this card, which will put a strain on the market. If it's a card you've always wanted, this might be the chance to grab it while the grabbing's good. This card could go back up to $50 to $60 Canadian as it rotates out, so keep a close eye on it if it's a card you need to get your hands on. Now, the next card is the Wandering Emperor, which is $45 Canadian near mint. This one is a tricky one. Planeswalkers do not normally command high levels of price after they rotate out. It just doesn't seem to be there, except for maybe the odd card like Jace Beleren, Liliana the Veil. Karn for a while kept a higher price because he wasn't reprinted. Same with Ugin, but when they reprinted it, the price collapsed. If the Wandering Emperor does not get a reprint, if it goes years and years with no specialties, nothing added anywhere, then this card will command a higher price because of its flash ability, and just being able to exile a creature from play and give you life is like a double added benefit. But at the same time, being able to flash in something that can put a creature in play or give bonuses means this Planeswalker might break the mold on how we use cards like this and where their value is seen in the secondary market after a rotation goes. Our next card is Jetmeres Garden, and this is Streets of New Capenna. Now, for those who haven't been around the block a little bit, when we had Ikoria come out, their lands were $4. I laughed at people. I said, this card is like a $15, $20 card. Why aren't you guys buying it? And a lot of people on my channel bought it, and they made a lot of money buying those full art foils for like $8. I do not know why this card is so cheap. Players have just moved on. New Capenna didn't grab people the way it needed to. It is still a tri-colored land with cycling. Using it in decks that, guys, it's an underrated card. I don't know how to describe this to people, but let it keep falling. Keep an eye on this card. If it drops to like the $8, $9 Canadian level, if you get this in the market price at $5 US on the market, this is a grab all day, and keep an eye out. Because this card, this what do you call it? This run of New Capenna is going to have uses later on. This land cycling is going to be used. Wizards wants it to be used. They will do things to make it have more value. Same as Ikoria. Keep an eye on this stuff. I already have seen the history of what happened in Ikoria, so I know it's going to happen here. The next card, I know, Ancient Silver Dragon. Commander Legends Battle for Baldurs Gate. This is just one of those sad tales where people didn't open the product enough to drive the price down. It's an 8/8 for 8. Hey, every time it attacks and deals combat damage to a player, you roll a d20 and you draw that cards. Okay, it's a crazy card. Okay, crazy. This card should probably be an $8, $9 card, but it's not, because the product wasn't opened enough. People were just so down and so hateful. This has caused a supply and demand issue. There are players who want to play with it. They want to build some Dragon Commander decks using all the amazing dragons out there, just like my son Minimox wants to. And now the price seems to stay right where it is. It's dipping ever so slowly, but the demand on the card is high, and there's not that many copies available on things like TCG Player. I've looked around, guys. There's not a lot. A lot of the local shops have none for sale. It's kind of one of those cards, like, if it ever finds a reason to spike, it's going to go hard and high. Okay? And remember, if you're buying any of these cards on TCG Player, guys, please remember to use my affiliate link that's found in the description of all of my videos. Every time you guys click that link and it takes you to TCG Player, and whatever you purchase there, I get a small kickback for the channel, and I really appreciate those who take the time to click that link and help my channel out. Okay, Ancient Copper Dragon. $85 Canadian near mint, really hasn't budged an inch. It's sold out everywhere here locally in Toronto and some of the surrounding areas, and the market price is $54.48 US. And there's lots of reasons for that. Okay, lots of reasons. This thing makes treasure tokens. There are infinite ways now to bust this card up to mess people up. Pay attention to this card. Pay attention to things that do treasure token effects, guys. There's a reason why this card is high, and again, it should be lower. But just like the Silver Dragon, it was under opened. It is crazy. And it's the way it's going to stay unless it gets a reprint or some kind of massive box opening, which is never going to happen. So this price is going to stay where it is. A supply and demand issue that has gone totally wrong, but it shows what happens when a product is not opened enough. The prices get out of whack for the cards we're dealing with. Archon of Cruelty. Modern Horizons 2, it's another situation where it's not a very expensive card. It has some good game effects, $20 Canadian near mint, but it's sold out. TCG Player, not tons of copies. Modern Horizons 2, in its twilight, rotating out. Look what the card does. Yes, it's 8. It's a 6/6. Whenever Archon of Cruelty enters the battlefield or attacks, target player sacrifices a creature or a planeswalker, discards a card, and loses 3 life. You draw a card and gain 3 life. Oh my god. This card is disgustingly powerful, and there are so many ways to board wipe or to put this card in and do crazy stuff that you can see why this card is so good. As a late game bomb, this can be a game-changing effect, and it's super cheap, but there's none available. Players are having a hard time finding some of these cards. Endurance is that same situation. Look at all these cards from Modern Horizons 2, which locally are sold out. Now, Endurance and stuff, I get what's happening. Yeah, the price is going down, I understand. But the fact it has so much playability out there, and the flash effect, it's going to have uses no matter what, and players are going to keep demanding this card. Any little tiny reprints it's getting are not going to be enough to satiate what people want from this card, especially in local markets where people aren't using credit cards to buy things online, guys. So it's going to be one of those situations where the card's going to retain value for quite a while and probably won't slip too low. Now, the last card I want to share with everyone is going to be Ellis Norn, the Grand Symbiote, whatever. New Phyrexia. $30 Canadian locally. There's a couple of copies for sale that are slight played, nothing near mint. It's been reprinted a few times into some specialty stuff, right? Like list cards and stuff. But it's holding value, and players want to get their hands on it. Now they know there's a whole new Phyrexia thing coming up. It's Vigilance. Other creatures you control get +2/+2. Other creatures your opponent control get -2/-2. A really powerful card. A lot of fun, a lot of uses. Foil is $96 because, hey, it's new Phyrexia. Foils were pretty hard to get back in the day, and the card is starting to see an uptick because of all the sets coming up for 2023. And that means cards like this are going to have greater demands and less availability, and that will affect the market and cause things to go skewed a certain way. Supply goes down while demand goes up. Prices are going to change, and on some of these products which now have gone through their life cycles, other cards finding new homes force people's hands and make you spend more money, and it makes people who have those cards and have built up small collections make a lot of money, guys. I hope this gives you something to think about. Thanks a lot for hanging out with me on the channel today, and I can't wait to see what you guys say in the comment section. Which cards did I miss? Which cards are harder to find? All right, guys, have a great day today. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. This is that moment in time where I get to say thank you to all the fantastic patrons on my channel who show that support each and every day. Thank you again, everyone. Makes me kind of happy that I got all the dragons out of the way all at once for my Mini Mox's deck. The only dragon I need to get is the Dragon still. That's the only one I need to get. I've got all the other ones in hand, which is awesome. Hopefully I'll get Dragon after the tax return comes in next year. Looking forward to it, guys. Welcome back, you 3%ers. You're the ones who make it till the end. And if you've made it this far, make sure that you leave Necronomicon inside the comment section so I know that you're the special people. You know I read the comments. I want to know what people think, and I want to know who the special people are, because you never know when it's important. You never know when something crazy is going to happen, so pay attention to that. Thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. Thanks for being here. I also need to get an Ellis Norn. I think I should get one. I don't know. You never know if it's going to be like a tribal thing for new Phyrexia, and it just kind of gets me going a little bit that I got to think about it. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys soon. Have an awesome day.